This is the 90 Degree Show brought to you by the Marching Podcast and Blog Talk Radio. And here's your host, the Phantom Podcaster himself, Joe Beard.
Good evening. How good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. Welcome to the 90 Degree Show. I am your host, Joe Beard, and happy to be of service for you tonight. Today is November 17th, 2013, 5 o'clock on the West Coast and 8 o'clock on the East Coast. We appreciate all those listening live or listening in podcast form through Blog Talk Radio, our website, or through iTunes. At the end of the broadcast, if you decide you like the show, then we appreciate a donation to the network if you feel so in your heart, of course. Just simply go to themarchingpodcast.com and click on the donate button to help improve the show and help build our scholarship fund. Okay, tonight I want to right quick say happy birthday to the greatest fraternity in the planet, in the galaxy, in the world, Omega Psi Phi Fraternity Incorporated. And this day, 1911, on a rainy Friday night, it was 3 students at Howard University, with the assistance of their faculty advisor, gave birth to Omega Psi Phi. Today is the 102nd birthday. Be safe, bruz and brew. On the show, we are in week 12 of the marching season, and it's basically the end of the college football season. We're in championship week, also rivalry week, where the biggest rivalries can come alive. They started last week, definitely getting some in this week, and then there'll be some rivalries played next week and around Thanksgiving, and some probably after Thanksgiving. So we're going to go ahead and keep all our eyes and ears open for all of that. No matter where you were on the planet, if you checked out any game, we want you to call in and tell us about it, especially, and help us out about the analysis on the games we're going to talk about tonight. We got a couple of interesting things to talk about tonight. And one thing in particular, we're going to highlight one of our sponsors. But, tonight I hope it's going to be a good show, so sit back and relax. But before we get into the show, we want to announce our Week 11 matchup winner. That was Shaw against St. Augustine University, 2 good programs, and this was a very close battle to try to judge. I was happy to see these 2 programs doing so well, because you don't hear about Shaw or St. Aug nationally anytime. But definitely in the state of North Carolina, where I believe there's 11 black schools, black colleges, it's definitely one of the conversations to talk about. So 2 good programs, and tonight's show is brought to you by Liquid Effects Photography, Block Band Music, bandhead.org, and hbcunews.net. Our first segment is going to be brought to you by bandhead.org, and we're going to hear from Gerard Howard, the great sir. We've chopped it up with him before, and I see him in the queue, so we're going to hear from them about the outstanding website, hbcubands.com. So we're going to go ahead and take the time to hear from bandhead.org right now.
This is Natalie Kennedy Beard, college alumni, class of 1971. You're listening to the 90 Degree Show on the Marching Podcast Network.
What if there was a Facebook for bands? Wait a minute, there is. Bandhead.org. Bandhead.org is a social network for HBCU show bands. You can create your own profile and post videos, photos, and comments on bandhead.org. Need somewhere to post events, audition schedules, job postings? Check out bandhead.org. Are you recruiting for talent? Go to bandhead.org. And coming this fall, hbcubands.com. Write that down, hbcubands.com.
Hello, this is Dr. Joel Beard, Jackson State alumnus, 1966. I march in the Jackson State Marching Band, which was then called the best band in the land. And you are now listening to the 90 Degree Show here on the Marching Podcast Network.
Okay, we're back, and we really appreciate you listening. You're listening right now to Winston Salem State, and one of their halftime shows go into a little Earth, Wind, and Fire medley there. Sounds really good, and excited to have them. We were talking about the CIAA Championship tonight that was supposed to happen yesterday. We'll get into that later, but I want to introduce the next segment. I want to bring on our next guest. Gerard, are you there?
Hey, what's going on, man?
What's going on, man? Appreciate having you on, the great owner and founder of bandhead.org, and was a Chopping It Up guest. You guys can Google that or go to our website, themarchingpodcast.com, and check out and put in the search bar for his name, or just do any type of search for Gerard Howard, and you'll see that interview and see all the great things he's been doing. How you doing tonight, man?
I'm doing fine, man. Doing fine. Just kind of sitting back and chilling from a long weekend, man.
I heard that, man. There's a lot going on, man. I see you still posting stuff. Probably you finally taking a break?
Yeah, that's kind of pretty much what it is, man. Just kind of taking a break. It was a long. The game was pretty long, man. A lot of folks out there, but it was a really great game. Both bands put on two great performances. Alcorn seems to really, really be coming along. I would say, man, I'd probably really give them another 1 or 2 more seasons before they kind of really, really become kind of a powerhouse or a threat, I guess, if you will, in the SWAC. What I would say Alcorn-wise now is that I think that they need to get a little bit more blood on their hands, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
It's a little bit more blood.
Definitely.
It's a little bit more, just kind of they need to get them a good gruesome battle underneath their hands,
Mm-hmm.
This kind of almost similar to I'm not sure if you saw that Miles College with Miles versus Tuskegee last week.
Oh yeah, I saw some of it. I didn't see the whole. You talking about the fifth quarter?
Yeah, yeah.
I saw some of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I saw some of it just because I knew Miles. But yeah, I mean, I was really surprised. I mean, Tuskegee. I mean, and it's one thing I noticed about bands, man. They come to play when the situation is serious. When people know it's serious, or like you said, you're talking about there's blood on the floor. Bands step up, and you really see who it is. What do you think?
Yeah.
I mean, who actually do you think Miles took them out?
Oh, Miles did them in 5 minutes. 5 minutes into the battle, man. Miles did them in. And the thing with that is that. What ended up happening was that later on in the footage, I think Tuskegee starts to play Dirty Diana, which is kind of like Miles' college staple, and Miles starts playing while they start playing, and then Tuskegee just abruptly just stops playing and just leaves the battle, and it's like their own stadium, And just kind of reading the comments on YouTube, somebody mentioned that when the band director was old school and he felt disrespected and whatnot. And I would have to say that playing over somebody in the fifth quarter is not, is not really something that you do, but at the same time, it's not really anything that you necessarily just leave the battle over either,
Mm-hmm.
You kind of really stay there and fight it out, really, And and that's really, that's kind of really one thing I've been talking to some other folks about recently, too, is that, in my opinion, the black college band world needs more drama. It needs more, say like, for instance, a couple of years back, Jackson State and Southern were at that Battle of the Bands in Jackson, and then right before Southern went on the field, Jackson State blew on Southern, And everybody was going, oh my God, it was so unprofessional, this and that and the other. And I'm going, man, look, this is a sport, and this is war. This is you can't, really. My reaction to somebody blowing on you right before you get back right before you about to go on the field at a Battle of the Bands, which is not really a timed event or anything that you necessarily need to, abide by any certain. I'm gonna blow at them. Simple enough, But then again, though, man, I come from a city where, a band would blow at your buses.
Right.
If you don't, if all your, coming to a parade site, and if one of your buses gets stuck in the traffic and you end up on parade grounds before everybody else do, somebody would surround your buses and blow at it. Or if your mama dropped you off before if your mama decided to drop you off before the rest of the band gets to the parade site and it's just you by yourself, somebody will surround you and blow at you. And that's really what, to me, that's what the sport is all about, man. This is a sport. This is, it's supposed to be about that action. It's supposed to be about that drama,
It's really interesting you say that. It's really interesting you say that because I was there. That was my crab year at Jackson State when Southern did that. And I remember, one thing I remember, WT. I mean, that's one thing, 97 WT, if you're out there listening, that's one thing I remember. I still heard series through that mess. And a lot of people didn't know, but, how they were angled. They weren't angling their horns down at us. So a lot more of the sound was the other side of the stadium. It was our fans. It was the Jackson State side. And when you see it on tape, it did catch us off guard because we were not expecting that. You know what I mean? But we missed a lot of that sound. You know what I'm saying? Like, so it was a surprising thing. But I remember how mad we were coming up the ramp. I mean, it definitely got the game hype. It was probably the best game I was ever a part of in my lifetime, and it's too bad that they didn't stay afterwards. But man, I mean, you're right. We definitely need that drama, and I guess that's what HBCUbands.com is bringing forth. You want to tell some of the folks about it?
Yeah, well, the thing with HBCUbands.com, man, is I've always kind of wanted to create a kind of like an ambassador site or a flagship that could be used to, promote the black college band world to a broader audience. Mm-hmm. Bandhead.org, of course, is a site for bandheads. It caters directly for bandheads, but I wanted to be able to, create a spot that, if I told my mother, hey, look, go check out the halftime show from this weekend, and you can, go tell your friends to go watch it, they could kind of do so, dare I say it, without some of the, bandheads that we could get sometimes. It kind of becomes a lot of noise talking, et cetera.
Right.
And yeah, talking noise is cool and all that, but you want to me, the black college band community still has a lot of work. We still have a lot of work to do, and we really do have to work at getting what we do recognized as an art form, because it is. When you see there's a difference between what we do and what predominantly white schools do. We put of course, a different flavor into it. It's like the difference between listening to, traditional Christian music and gospel music. They're two different, they're two different genres. They're the same message, of course, but it's two different approaches. So, with that particular site, man, the idea is to kind of go ahead and create, like I say, kind of an ambassador site that you could get, that you could really kind of target the masses, I guess, if you will. So if I wanted to go ahead and speak to, expose folks, man, expose folks. If you want to go ahead and take it to Europe, expose them to the world of black college bands. If you wanted to take it to Africa, take it to, wherever, we need to have something that allows us to put our best foot forward and get what we do recognized as an art form. And of course, there have been hindrances to that over the years. Of course, the whole FAMU hazing incident, was kind of a black eye to the genre. HBO seems to have something out against the black college band community because, you'd almost swear that nobody's ever even heard of black colleges until hazing happens, and then, it's Jackson State, Southern, and Florida A&M are the most popular bands in the country, and they're hazing,
and that's the forefront.
But prior to that, you hadn't heard HBO mention Jackson State or Southern or FAMU or any black college band in any kind of sentence, you don't see them on anything, So
It's really funny you say that. It's really funny you say that because you know, and people are free to call in at any time when they want. 718-664-6025. I think Rashad is on the line. I'm gonna bring him in just in case he has something to say about the conversation. Rashad, is that you?
That's it. That's me.
What's going on, Rashad? Also, ladies and gentlemen, we have the chat room open. I just put the HBCU bands URL link there, so you guys can now open and join the chat room and check out that link. But definitely, you know, I saw, sort of to reiterate what you're saying, I was, you know, looking at the fifth, and exactly what you said. There was, and shout out to Christy Walker if you're out there. I'm sure she's out there listening. Yeah. We were talking about the FAMU, but what do you call it? I'm sorry, Ohio State. Lost it for a second there. Ohio State. And Ohio State is getting a lot of national acclaim. My favorite television show, Pardon the Interruption, they were on there. And I was like, wow, you know, and they're getting for, you know, making the animation something that FAMU and something, you know, people have been doing for years. It's kind of like the Elvis thing, you know. Once folks saw Elvis, they was like, "Oh my God," you know, like this is great, you know. Even though he just like, you know, he just copying what he's seeing. It's unfortunate that, you know, that's the attention that we're getting, and unfortunately, what happened with the CIAA tournament, with the CIAA championship game, you know, wrong, you know, unfortunate type of publicity there with that too. Rashad, I don't know if you were listening, man. We were actually talking about HBCUbands.com and just being an ambassador for everyone for a good, positive thing to see. What do you think about the image as far as, you know, the national image of what we know as show-style bands?
Simply as far as the national image is concerned, we just need to step it up more. We need to get out there more. We need to figure out what in the world was Grambling doing a couple of years back, and everybody needs to do that. Because, you know, even though Ohio State is getting a lot of press now, there has never been a band ever that I know of that has been more publicized than Grambling. I mean, they've been on Wheel of Fortune. Joe, they had a category on Jeopardy. A category.
Wow.
Dude, I'll take Grambling's band for 100. Come on.
Wow.
That's crazy. And we all know how Grambling is. So it's definitely in their marketing department. So if we're not getting the press that we need to, it's because we're not putting ourselves out there like that. Or there's not third-party organizations that, you know, support bands that are not pushing these bands out there. As far as Ohio State is concerned, I've got nothing but love for Ohio State, because the first thing I'm going to say about them is that they were doing what they've been doing longer than we've been doing it. Because even if you look at Southern University, you look at the S on the chest, they'll know it the best where they got it from. You know, I mean, Ohio State was the originator of a lot of things. But you can see a lot of new people who are kind of jumping on the field for saying, oh, look at these guys biting what we're doing. No, hold up. And as far as the animation is concerned, yeah, you're right. You know, bands like FAMU have done it before, but I've never seen a band do it like Ohio State did. You know,
and I'm glad you said that. I'm glad you said that just for the listeners. I want you to keep going, but I'm glad you said that just for listeners. Definitely the animation. I need to clear that up, the animation. But definitely Jackson State, all of our patterns of motions we know as drill, a lot of that came from University of Michigan and a lot of those Big Ten schools. So go ahead, Rashad. Go ahead, man.
Just the stuff, the level that Ohio State has taken it to. Like we've had this discussion before with FAMU when they were the larger band, and how they really do cool things, but it's kind of like it's cool at the beginning and it's cool at the end, and then it's just a hodgepodge in the middle until you get there. And that is what you see when you see Ohio State. I mean, you see Superman flying from one thing to another, and it's freak out. So it's time for all of us show-style bands to say, wow, look at that. We need to step our game up even more, because I think we have kind of gotten a little bit complacent, and we need to just do even more than what we've been doing in order to continue to stay in that limelight. And we need to market ourselves more so that we can actually be known and recognized like that.
That's a good word, Rashad. I'm glad you said that, man. Good word, man. I think this Tyrone. Tyrone, is that you?
Yeah, man. I'm here.
What's going on, Tyrone, man? Have you been checking out the discussions, launching, the HBCUbands.com has been launched, and if you're in the chat, you guys can check that out. Did you have any words about our conversation about our face towards the rest of the world?
Everything that was said thus far has been spot on. I mean, I feel exactly the same way you guys do, especially with the marketing aspect of things. We just got to get these bands to have good, positive things put out there about them, not as much as the negative, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I remember at Johnson C. Smith my first year at 96, I know that Mr. Gray, shout out to Duncan C. Gray. He's the head band director there at West Charlotte High School in Charlotte, North Carolina. I know that, we were doing some of everything, and, Thurman Hollins will tell you about it. He chopped it up, and I think we talked about that. But, yeah, we were in malls. We were at the Charlotte Hornets games. We were some of everywhere, just shaking and popping and doing some of everything, trying to get, that JCSU out there. So definitely I think, you guys bring that up, and I'm not trying to throw my director, my beloved director, Dr. Liddell, under the bus, and I don't mean any disrespect by what I'm saying, but I know that he was a little arrogant about us going out there, I don't really recruit, or, we don't really do this, or because, we're Jackson State, I wasn't crunk about that, so I definitely think there needs to be, like you said, we need to start showing up on Kmart commercials or Lexus commercials or whatever, and I think it'll help. And I know it'll help our numbers, because, we're still providing good educations at these schools. So I really appreciate it. I usually wanted to bring you guys in later, but I thought that Gerard opened up a really good platform there with some of those words, and I had to get what the two of you guys think. So I want to close out this segment, but is there anything else that you want us to know about the website, Gerard? And if you can, you're welcome to stay on the show when we talk about Jackson State Alcorn. But is there any other news or anything, any events coming on, or for bandhead.org, or anything that you got coming up for the rest of this year?
Just coverage, man. Just coverage. We've got, like I said, we did the Capital City Classic this weekend. Next weekend, be in Orlando for the Florida Classic. Week after that, Bayou Classic, SIAC Championship, and then Honda in January.
Yeah, well, we'll definitely be having some shows. Yeah, we'll definitely be having some shows about all of those. So I'm going to go ahead and close out this segment. I really appreciate it. But if you guys are now in the chat room, or if you're out there listening, go ahead and check out bandhead.org and check out HBCUbands.com for that new launch. And like you said, we're trying to clean up our face here. So like Rashad said, we got to step it up. I got Rashad and Gerard on here, man. So I'm getting my letters tangled up. So like you said, we go ahead and we need to step it up and get our face out there better. So we appreciate that. Really appreciate those good words, fellas. I wasn't really expecting for you guys to say that. So kudos to you. Props. And we'll go ahead and close out this segment. We'll go ahead and go to our next segment here. But before we do, I did not forget. I do want to say the winner of the Week 11 matchup winner, we had a really good response, so I did want to drag that out a little bit more. So we'll be saying more of that when we come back from this commercial break.
This is Curtis from 80minutesofregulation.com. From referees whistle to drum majors whistle and back, your source for sports and marching and athletic music. You're listening to the 90 Degree Show on the Marching Podcast Network.
Having an anniversary party, birthday party, or better yet, you're about to marry that special someone? Liquid Effects Photography is the perfect choice to immortalize all your most special moments. With 10 years of dependable professional service that can deliver from the conventional to the best in cutting-edge technology and creativity, Come experience the uniqueness of Liquid Effects Photography. We serve the entire upper Midwest and will travel further upon request. Come check us out at liquideffects.com. That's LIQUIDEFFEX.com. Or call us at 773-454-5556. That's 773-454-5556. Do you know where to find scholarship information and other financial resources that are available to HBCU students? Are you up to date on the latest information in the HBCU world? If you answer no to any of these questions, then HBCU News with the Reeves is the place for you. We provide information to...
Hi, this is Erica Jones from A Social Life, and you are listening to the 90 Degree Show here on the Marching Podcast Network.
Do you know where to find scholarship information and other financial resources that are available to HBCU students? Are you up to date on the latest information in the HBCU world? If you answer no to any of these questions, then HBCU News with the Reeves is the place for you. We provide information to spark interest, success stories of graduates, and the latest on issues that you care about. So check out HBCU News with the Reeves Tuesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern on blogtalkradio.com/marching podcast. Check out our website and point your browser toward hbcunews.net and join in on the calls and discussion today.
Hi, this is Erica Jones from A Social Life, and you are listening to the 90 Degree Show here on the Marching Podcast Network.
All right, welcome back. And I got too much going on by myself here. I did slip up, and shout out to Erica. Shout out to all the people I'm doing the promos for. You guys are listening and hearing some of our wonderful, esteemed folks saying that you're listening to the 90 Degree Show, or just shout out to our network. But yeah, definitely got a lot going on now with all these different audio clips. So excuse me for the trip up there. But again, we want to make sure we listen to HBCUnews.net. You are listening to the Sounds of Dynamite playing what's Love Ain't No Crime, or Love Is a Crime, or something about love being a crime. They're Alcorn, sounding really good. Something I really enjoyed from them this year. 718-664-6025. You're listening to the 90 Degree Show here on the Marching Podcast Network, brought to you by Blog Talk Radio and all of its affiliates, all of our wonderful sponsors. We really appreciate all the people being on and listening. We have some really good numbers, and they're growing every week. And we're seeing some good folks here, all around numbers already today. So we appreciate you all out there listening. We want to now take this time and do the winner from our Week 11 matchup, and that was Shaw against St. Augustine. And I know that you guys are out there waiting for the result. Really good response again this week, but with 67% of the vote. 67% of the vote. Shaw University edges out. I'm sorry, St. Augustine edges out. St. Augustine edges out Shaw University for our winner. So we want to congratulate St. Augustine and all of the hard workers there. It was a close battle, and, you know, we weren't sure about it here ourselves, but we really want to appreciate all those listening there and all those who voted. 718-664-6025 if you want to call in, or if you want to join the chat room. We have our panelists here on, and I don't know if you guys checked out or heard anything about the SIAC Championship between Miles and Albany State, one of my favorite matchups. But we also want to talk about the CIAA Championship. I'll go ahead and go over the outline for tonight's show, and I'll bring the guys back in just in case, you know, they want to say anything. The outline for tonight's show, we have, just as you heard Gerard, He's going to talk at the beginning. As always, we're going to talk about Miles and Albany State. We're going to touch on what happened with the CIAA, which is a little bit more serious. And last but not least, of course, the great Soul Bowl, or formerly known as the Capital City Classic, Jackson State versus Alcorn. If any of you were out there listening at the game, please call in, or any of these games, please call in. I know Maurice, our great Maurice Bailey, was going to call in tonight, but I messed up on my time zone and told him the wrong time. So he won't be on, but I did talk to him, and I heard from him. Gerard, I know we got into it a little bit. We talked about Miles. Did you check out Miles and Albany State, have you seen the two of those bands this year? What do you think about them?
Nah, I hadn't had a chance to check out Albany State this year.
But yeah, you see Miles. What do you think about Miles?
Yeah. I think Miles has definitely kind of come along since they've had a new cat there, I guess, for the past couple of years now. Snipes, I think it is, right?
I'm not really sure. I know he's new.
Yeah, I think he's kind of really kind of rebuilt the program and whatnot, and he's got him a band on his hands, man. He's got him a nice band on his hands.
Bring in Rashad. Rashad, have you checked out Miles or Albany State or both of these bands? Either of these bands, I'm sorry.
Yeah, man, I didn't see the halftime. I definitely saw a bunch of clips before the show and after the show. I don't know why there was no halftime show, man.
Yeah, I know.
And the main thing I want to say about that matchup in the SIAC Championship is that Jackson State lost yesterday, right? That's what I want to say about that. That's Jackson State lost yesterday.
The football game?
I want to say about,
You mean the football game?
No, Jackson State lost the band battle. Based on your rules, Joe. Based on Joe Good rules. Based on the gimmick rules.
Oh yeah. We're going to get into that. I was trying to make compose for that to the end. But yeah, we definitely going to get into that.
But the second thing I want to say about that is, earlier in the season, we had a matchup between two bands. I think it may have been Miles and somebody else. And, we tend to know a lot about what's going on in the MEAC and the SWAC, and the CIAA and the SIAC really don't get the attention that they do. And I'm number one. If you're not in those two conferences, or if you're not, Everett Waters or Tennessee State, I would just not even pay attention to you, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
And Miles College has a fan in me now. I really enjoy that band. I think they've got their stuff together. I think they've got a very, very powerful and aggressive sound. And unlike there's a lot of bands with powerful and aggressive sounds, but they hold it together. They're not people are not splatting all over the place. It's like, and my question for you is this: is their director? Are they from Southern?
That was my guess.
I'm not sure. I'm not quite sure. I know the cat is on the site though. He's a member of bandhead.org, so you may want to. You can probably just kind of go on the site and holler at them or whatnot and find out what's what.
Yeah, if you're out there, if anyone, you can tweet or let us know in the chat room or even call in. Let us know about the guy Miles. I can't open up too much more of what's going on here now to do any research. But hey, that's the number one thing I think about Southern. Like I'm closing my eyes, I'm hearing Southern, and I mean, but they close too.
Really, to be honest with you, though, I mean, he may not have necessarily been from Southern. I know that. I guess back in the mid 2000s or so, Miles kind of really beefed up their sound. That I guess in the mid 2000s, maybe 2004 to probably about 2007 or so. Miles kind of beefed up and, to me, kind of had more of a, I would say, kind of more of a Southern/New Orleans sound.
Oh, okay. Okay, because, Talladega College sounds similar, too. You know what I mean? They sound powerful, similar to, like,
I think some of that same personnel from that old Miles is over there, too.
Oh, okay.
Some of the arrangers and whatnot. Some of the arrangers and, what you call it,
Yeah,
Joe, my bad.
Joe, I'm gonna tell you, man, what's happening at Miles though right now is not the Miles I've seen in the past. Because to me, Miles in the past was the poster child for sloppy playing. I'm just saying.
Okay.
I put my hand up in the air. They were the poster child for mellophones flopping all over your band. You know, and when one of my former interns that I had with me was like so excited, oh, check out Miles College, check this out, this talking outside of your neck. And I was like, that's terrible. Like, those mellophones sound horrible. They're all over the place. And that's not what I heard earlier today. I said, wow, that band sounds great. And they do not have those same issues with the mellophones at all. There's not really a section that's really weak. Now, but while we're talking about this, don't get it twisted now. I did respect what Albany State was doing in the stands. I think they're a much smaller band, but they really did hold their own. They're not quite polished to the point that Miles is. And I do believe that based on the show, I didn't see a halftime show, but based on the shows that I've seen in the past between the two, I personally feel that would have been decimated in the field. Now, I saw some comments based on the field talking about what happened, and I think some people said that Albany State took the win there. But just based on what I heard, you know, I watched, I think it was like last month's show, and I saw, I just heard a lot of stray notes here and there. The marching was not uniform. The step size was not uniform. And what I saw at Miles College, it was actually the show that Albany State was supposed to go to. And I thought they did a tremendous job across the board. I think there was a few issues in one thing. One thing that was really cool that they did, I want to say this is Miles. Yes. I think they played, it was some Earth, Wind & Fire song. I think it was Jupiter. The Getaway. They played Getaway, and they did that run in, and they had the dance girls come up and all put their legs up on top of each other in a row. I was like, I yelled, yes. That was fantastic. So I'm really excited about kind of seeing Miles. I would love to see them in the Honda Battle of the Bands.
So what do you think, right quick before we get to Tyrone, what do you think, who do you think won on the field and who do you think won in the stands?
I think it would have been a sweep for Miles.
Okay. Tyrone, did you check out Miles Albany State, or have you seen either band?
Yeah, man, I definitely checked out the first quarter and the pregame performance from yesterday. I haven't seen any halftime, but I've seen previous halftimes from them. I definitely would have to agree. Miles would definitely clean them. I mean, clean the clock with them, really, on the field and in the stands, as they did. To me, I think their trumpet section is their weakest section right now, but they're still strong. They're just getting swallowed up by the little brass.
Right.
Little brass. Their band director is actually from Alabama State.
Okay. Yeah. Good looking out on that.
So you kind of hear that influence now. It's still kind of leaning more towards Southern, like what's the name said? I like them, man. I really do. I like them in the past, and I definitely agree that they were sloppy in the past. But this band here is a new design band all over. I mean, I think they got something going there.
So you agree too, a clean sweep for Miles on the field and in the stands?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, definitely. Well, I'll go ahead and give mine right quick. I agree with you guys. Basically, I thought it was a clean sweep, just because I didn't see the halftime show. I was gonna say, okay, maybe Albany State had a really good show. You know, it's the SIAC Championship. You know, we excited. I figured, that they were going to come with something. Plus, this was my favorite matchup last year, and I don't think that they traveled to see each other this year, I don't believe. So I thought that it would be charged up, and I think these are probably like the top two bands in this conference, maybe. But definitely, Rashad, you talk about that polish. I see or I hear sometimes with Albany State where it's like, oh, or like, oh, it's like, oh, okay, they're good, you know, and then a part where it's like, oh, I don't know about that part right there, you know, and it's kind of similar with like Benedict and some of the other schools where, you know, you just hope that, you know, we could all step up and clear that out across the board. But definitely Miles, you know, I felt Albany State was excited in the stands. I felt that they brought some good energy. But when you watch the tape and you see how Miles, you know, played, you know, they were playing some good songs. They were powerful. And then, like, I think Albany left first. So, you know, it's like, you know, it's kind of hard to not say after that. You know, who knows about the halftime? I'm thinking, you know, but I would probably just have to give it to Miles just to see if Albany State. I don't know how crunk they are. You know what I mean? And as far as, you know, the being on the field, not only in the stands but just all together, just the swag, just the crunkness of the band, the crunk level. You know, I don't know. I'm not really sure where that is, but I think I agree with you guys. Maybe possibly on the halftime show or someone calls in and lets me know, you know, what really went down or whatever. I have to, you know, give it to Albany State, but I don't think in the stands it was a question. I think Miles easily took that one. You know, I don't think, you know, other than Albany State people are saying that, you know, Miles took an L in the stands. So right quick before we go to the next commercial break, I wanted to ask you guys before we get into the Soul Bowl after this next commercial break, and make sure you guys have the show turned down so, you know, any echoes or any or anything in the background or whatever. The CIAA I keep saying the tournament because I can't help it. The tournament is crunk. If anybody out there, CIAA tournament, go to it. Yeah, go to it, please. But the football championship was supposed to happen this weekend. We were all excited. We had two championships to talk about, the great Winston Salem State and the great Virginia State was going to play. You know, we were excited. I was excited just to see, like, what, because, you know, Virginia State is a little different. I like their halftime show, and I thought Winston, they sound good, but they got to come with something. So I was excited. But I think on Friday, we all heard that the CIAA was thinking of canceling the game. The news reports that came across said that the quarterback for Winston-Salem State was attacked and was unable to play in the football game today. So they were considering to cancel the game. Okay? Now people are like, what? Who did it? Like, what's going on? Blah, blah, blah. And apparently at a luncheon or one of the, you know, the jumps that they always do for the game, do the promotion and the marketing, they do the dinners and the golf tournaments and all that. I think that the quarterback supposedly went to the bathroom and like 5 guys jumped on him. This is what the report was. Later, the reports say that they were allegedly guys from the Virginia State football team. Okay? Then later we hear that the game is canceled. They canceled it. You know, I immediately text Taylor Whitehead, and anytime I hear something about Virginia State, I was like, man, what's going on? He's like, I can't believe it. You know, this is all crazy. I'm very upset, but I do agree with them canceling the game for safety. So I was like, wow, you know, that's a trip. And I was still in shock a little bit, still kind of in shock about it today. But now we hear that they have arrested someone, and it was someone from the Virginia State football team. So much today that before the show started, I don't know what time before the show started, HBCU Digest put out a report. Shout out to you, Jared Carter. He put out a report saying that the CIAA will not allow Virginia State to participate in the Division II football playoffs next weekend. This was done because this game was canceled, and both teams had the potential of competing in the playoff game. So the CIAA said, we can't let you roll out there like that. And they basically said, no, that's all of what we know today about the CIAA football championship, which was supposed to be part of our discussion tonight. Tyrone, I get to you, man. What do you feel about How do you feel about this? When did you hear about it? And do you agree with the decision?
I initially heard about it Saturday morning. I heard some buzz in the wind about something happening about the game late Friday night, but I saw the actual article and everything on it Saturday morning, and I'm kind of upset that something like that would happen.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what could have transpired to make them go to such great lengths. I mean, do you hate them that much that you would resort to beating somebody up? I mean, that doesn't make any sense. I think the punishment is justified.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you prevent somebody else from playing football, you don't play. It's just that simple.
Really good point. I'm still in shock too. I'm mad too. I felt like I was like, okay, maybe it wasn't a football team. Hey, and you know, just like Gerard, we were talking about earlier. Of course, this is ESPN news. This is great national news now. We're excited to talk about these universities and this thug nature, you know. And so, of course, I'm halfway mad about that. And, you know, just hearing, I was like, wow, with the football at the luncheon, no less. You know, would they really do it? But apparently they've arrested a guy. Rashard, what do you think, man? When did you hear about this? And, you know, how do you feel? Do you agree with the decision?
Joe, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Somebody's like running some water or something.
I'm sorry, man. You pressed muted on me a while back, so I've just been washing my dishes.
Okay.
I didn't know you had unmuted me.
No, man. I know, right? I wish I had like a producer and be like telling you in the ear like what's up, but yeah, it's kind of how this refreshing thing works. I would spend 15 minutes talking about it. But yeah, man. What do you think, man? What do you think about it?
Well, I agree with it to the extent that it was a Virginia State player that did it. I mean, if it had been some random person, the game should have continued, you know, because it shouldn't have been spoiled for everybody else that was there. But the fact that it was a Virginia State player that did it, that's definitely that's way over. And
do you agree with them canceling the game?
Yeah. I think it was. I think that's a good move, and I think it was really that dumb person messed it up for a lot of people. You know, parents that wanted to see their kids play in the championship game. How big a deal is that? And it's ruined for somebody else's stupidity, man.
I guess the thing with that is, I would have figured that, you know, hell, let them play the game. You know, if you have to, if anything, just kind of, you know, ban the player from playing, take him out of the game, and then just basically fine the school afterwards, but keep the game going. You know, if the if Winston Salem's quarterback can't play, of course you had to play with the backup quarterback. You know, take out the other players who couldn't play. I guess I would say leave the decision up to the schools as to whether or not they still want to continue on with the matchup versus playing, you know, versus just kind of getting rid of the entire game. And if anything, of course, just fine Virginia State. You know, I mean, I guess that would just kind of go without saying. Fine them for the action, but just kind of keep the game going, because there is a lot of stake. You know, that there's a lot of, you know, hell, it's vendors at the stadium, it's parents, it's, you know, whoever, people who spend a whole bunch of money to watch this thing happen, just to kind of sit back and let the actions of 4 or 5 people ruin it for everybody, you know.
Yeah, right. And that's what kind of hurt me too, was, you know, that when it was canceled, I mean, I'm still upset about what happened, but when it was canceled too, you know, I felt like, man, that, you know, I thought there were a lot of people that was going to miss out on that exciting experience, and definitely the families or plane tickets or anything like travel, anything would hurt. You know, I felt that, you know, I mean, I understand why they did it, but at the same time, man, you know, And now the only other on the other side of that, I saw, they have Stephen A. He's a alumni of Winston Salem State, and he was on ESPN, and he talked about the Vegas factor, where someone or some betting or gambling could have went on for this to happen, and then the outcome would have been swayed. Then maybe if that came up, maybe suspend a lot of the players on, try to make it even from Virginia State side, but then even still, who knows? I was surprised that they canceled the game, and they made the decision that day. It was tough. I really wanted to see that game, and like you said, there was a lot of people that missed out. I don't want to spend too much time with it, but I did want to get each person's take on what happened. It's unfortunate because, this is, again, of course, the black eye that, we hit nationally, and this is the way we get known. So, again, we want to step up our game in all aspects, if you're out there listening. So we'll go ahead. We're going to go to this next commercial break, and we're going to come back and talk about the great Jackson State versus Alcorn State here on the 90 Degree Show.
Hello, this is Dr. Joel Beard, Jackson State alumnus, 1966. I march in the Jackson State Marching Band, which was then called the best band in the land. And you are now listening to the 90 Degree Show here on the Marching Podcast Network.
Chopping It Up with the Marching Podcast is a podcast of one-on-one interviews with positive role models that have a connection through music and or education. We also give the listener an opportunity to call in and talk with our guests. Chopping It Up is all about inspiring our youth for a great future and providing a roadmap on how to get there. We also chop it up to give insight to anyone looking for information, inspiration, and advice in their endeavors. Chop it up with us every second Tuesday of the month at 8 p.m. Eastern at blogtalkradio.com/marchingpodcast. Chopping It Up, changing the world through positive interaction. The Marching Podcast Network is a network of podcasts with the purpose to inspire, educate, and show positive images in our community. Our network produces podcasts about college marching bands, business, health, finances, college preparation, spirituality, instrumentation development, along with one-on-one interviews with strong role models in our community. All podcasts are interactive and invite you, the listener, to call in and speak. Looking for a podcast network that educates and inspires to make our world a better place? Then listen to us at blogtalkradio.com/marchingpodcast. Check out our website at themarchingpodcast.com. Tweet us at marchingpodcast or follow our blog at blog4.themarchingpodcast.com. The Marching Podcast, changing the world through positive interaction.
Hello, this is Christine Mayo-Katzman, CEO and publisher of Halftime Magazine, and you are listening to the 90 Degree Show here on the Marching Podcast Network.
Okay, we're back, and we were here to talk about our featured matchup. One of the featured matchups, Jackson State versus Alcorn State, the formerly the Capital City Classic, Soul Bowl, or whatever people are calling it nowadays. If you heard all these commercials, if you're interested in becoming a sponsor to or patron to the Marching Podcast, please contact the show, and we will give you the criteria so we can start to pub your business using our platform. We will play your commercial. We'll post your website on our blog. and we'll help you send out information through social media. So contact us so we can help build your business. You're in the final segment of the show now, and this is normally the quick hits, but we're going to talk about Jackson State Alcorn. You're now listening to the sonic boom of the South playing the Holy Grail. Love the power and the volume, not sure about the arrangement per se, but I like the song, and I like that it's Jackson State, and we're going to go ahead and bring in the guys. Really excited about the song, and I think that they're cranking on it this year. We'll bring in the guys to talk about the matchup. Right quick, before we start talking about Jackson State Alcorn, Tyrone, have you seen Virginia State and or Winston Salem State this year?
I've seen Virginia State, man, and
what do you think about them?
To me, they're still the Virginia State I fell in love with. Nice, powerful band, well balanced. They do a really good job with control and dynamics. Stellar tuba section, known as Horsepower. To me, that's their best section, hands down.
And the most known too,
Yeah. Field shows, they pretty much entertain from start to finish. It's a couple times I've questioned their choices of songs, selections. That's about it. Other than that, I love them.
Rashad, what do you think, man? Have you seen Winston-Salem and Virginia State this year?
Well, we've seen Winston for the show this year.
Right.
And, one thing I saw about them, man, their drum majors are awesome. And I didn't get the chance to say that I forgot to say that during the last show. And I want to make sure I put that out there because you got to give props with props to do. Their drum majors are fantastic, man. Virginia State, I haven't seen them, though. I'm sure they're probably still good. Definitely what Tyrone said. And I can't believe, Joe, that Tyrone said earlier, what's his name? He called me what's his name. Joe, Tyrone, you called me what's his name?
I had a brain fart.
Come on, man.
Don't judge me. Don't judge me.
Joe, can you press the music button real quick? Wow. But anyway, yeah, the Horsepower, of course, one of the best tuba sections. Honestly, man, when it comes to tuba sections right now, I was watching the tuba battle between Miles and Albany State. If it ain't about, like, Virginia State or, like, Hampton or, like, a couple other bands, like, in the Virginia, North Carolina area, and when it comes to tuba battles, it honestly ain't worth watching because they're not doing it. But those bands will bring it.
So who do you think would win on the field between, if the actual game went on, who do you think would win on the field?
If you're talking about Virginia State at their best versus Winston at their best, and, of course, once again, I don't know if Virginia State is at their best at all this year, it would be hands down Virginia State.
Mm-hmm. What about in the stands?
In the stands? I'll just say
somebody's got
because I have to see somebody.
Yeah, so we got an echo. I'm sorry, we got an echo, and I couldn't hear what you were saying. Go ahead, Rashad. What were you saying, man?
Oh, and you said in the stands, right, as well?
Yeah, in the stands. What do you think?
Yeah, I'll just choose Winston because I have to choose somebody. I have no idea.
I think Winston sounds better. That was my analysis. I still did an analysis for the two. I think that Virginia State was going to put on a better show. I really liked their show this year. I think I just talked about them last week, but it's definitely that core mixed, and I really enjoy. I think they have a good energy about them, and of course, Horsepower's out there. So I think that they would put on the better halftime show. I think Winston would get them in the stands because I think Winston just sounds better. Like Virginia State's got some suspect sound, some chords sometimes. It's like, and it's definitely more than Albany State. I talked about Albany State earlier having it. It's more bad sounding things coming from Virginia State sometimes versus Winston-Salem State, where I think that, they're a little bit more fine-tuned with their sound. So I think that they would have a better book. I think they're a little bit more battle-tested, too. I still would like to see, I'd like to have seen, because like you said, at their best and at the championship game, there was going to be some excitement. But I think that, Winston would give them the edge. So right now, let's go ahead and talk about the great Capital City Classic, Jackson State versus Alcorn. I talked to Maurice tonight, Maurice Bailey, beloved Trump Funk 1994. He said that he felt that Alcorn actually won on the field. And, we'll get into that. And, Rashad, I'm glad that you gave the segue there at the beginning of the show about taking the L. I think Alcorn won on the field, too. Not because I think that Jackson State had the crowd, and I think it was a home crowd, but they didn't really drill. I was excited to see the SWAC, them make the SWAC, the SWAC logo. I was excited to see that. Not too much of a drill. I thought Alcorn had a good drill. But, man, when good Lord, when Jackson State brought out Ernie Isley, or whoever, I'm sorry, it wasn't Ernie Isley. It was somebody with a guitar, like that, with a guitar. I said, good Lord, are you serious? Like, I didn't even want to watch the rest of the show because it just totally ruined it for me. And then when the brother, and this is something that Maurice talked about, the brother sang the whole song, yo. Like, oh, no. Like, I don't know, what was that, 3 verses? Oh, my goodness. I was so upset. And then when it couldn't get any worse, the woman came, oh, my God. I was like, this is Jackson State Alcorn, and they did this. I was just like, they must have did it to spite me or something. I was like, this is horrible.
Yeah, Joe, I think they did, man. They were like, yeah, Joe gonna be talking about us tonight. Let's do it.
Oh my God, like it was so. And I mean, let me tell you something. Jackson State on the field is so loud. I mean, I don't know what company squads was facing or who had their horns, whatever, but they were loud as I don't know what. And then during the standstill song, the Sierra song, they were blowing me away. I was just like, man, they are scary because they got that power. And then the trumpet, shout out to Trump Funk, because they're powerful enough to sit on top of that power and still be heard. Jackson State, I mean, they the bomb now. But, man, when the dude came out there, I was just like, man, it ruined it for me. It really did. And I thought Alcorn had a better drill. I wasn't crunk about the four squares. I mean, it was typical Alcorn then. Like, they surprise you and they're getting good, and then they throw Alcorn comes up. Like, the first dancing, like the first square, they did a good job, and then it was long, and then it just tailed from then. Each square from then on was really, really bad. But I still thought that with that stunt Jackson State pulled, I'm like, nope, I can't even do it. You know what I mean? I was just really, really upset. You know what I'm saying? It's upset. You know what I'm saying? So I just leave it at that. You know what I'm saying?
Hey. Yo.
Yeah, go ahead. So go ahead. Who is that? Rashad, yeah, please go ahead and tell me what you think, man. Or Tyrone, what do you think, man, about the Jackson State Alcorn game?
Jackson. Man, it put a smile on my face after hearing you dog all these other bands, talking about their gimmicks, and here Jackson goes. Half their show is gimmick.
Oh, man.
Shout out to the Golden Girls performance, too, as well, in the Jackson State show. I thought that was rather hilarious. They sounded good. I just wasn't too thrilled to see all this gimmicks after gimmicks.
Man.
I mean, I get why they did it. They're kind of boasting. They're happy about being the SWAC champion and everything, and want to pay tribute to everyone that lost. I guess that was the point of it. Just put it up in your face, but in the end, they end up losing the game anyway. So I guess that was kind of putting your foot in your mouth.
Yeah, I wonder if the starters were even playing, because that game was over, I think, like in the first quarter. Like, they were trying to relax or something. like a bye week or something.
Yeah. I like Alcorn's show. I wasn't too thrilled about the squares drill. I think they could have did something a little bit more interesting. The dances were really good. A lot of interesting dance maneuvers there. Flips and such. I thought it was a really cool show. Comparing it to the gimmicks, it was better in my book.
Well, what do you think? What do you think, Rashad?
Well, first of all, I think you should play the round of applause sign again for you taking that L personally, Joe. Because when I saw the show, I'm thinking the same thing Tyrone said. Like, oh man, what's Joe going to do? What's he going to do?
I halfway didn't even want to do the show. I was like, no. It's like, no. And it was so long. He was out there so long. Oh my God, no.
Oh yeah, and he did. And my man said, don't forget the Golden Girls, and don't forget the cheerleaders.
Oh yeah, the cheerleaders. I forgot about that.
Well, the cheerleaders were. I got kind of crunk about. I was happy to see that. I don't know if I saw that, so I was like happy to see that. But man, it hurt.
Well,
let me tell you, it hurt.
Let me do you guys like Avengers, Captain America throwing the shield and hit Iron Man and Thor. Because I kind of think that they were biting off of Alcorn State when they had the cheerleaders out there. I'm just saying.
No.
Oh, whoa, wait. Wow.
So,
well,
outside of me
stick my chest out over that. Shout out to the 101.
Gimmicks don't really bother me that much. To me, I like a gimmick if the bands are tied and it puts you over the top. That's cool. I don't think the gimmicks were all that really effective, but I think they were fine. I didn't like the Golden Girls at all. I thought the cheerleaders I really didn't understand. I thought the guy singing, I think it was cool. It wasn't great, but it was cool. I didn't like the lady because you're gonna be like, she's supposed to look louder and deeper, and she wasn't. She sounded way too female to sing that. You know what I mean?
She tried to shine, yo. She tried to get her shine on, man.
Exactly. She tried to get that deal, and she's supposed to be singing like Rudy from the the Cosby
right.
Show. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
But I will completely disagree with you guys otherwise. Jackson State, there is a difference. Jackson State takes band serious. And you can say that same thing about, but Jackson State takes it more serious. When you watch Alcorn and you watch Jackson, you watch one band, and these are guys, okay, we've got a band. And you watch another band, it's like, band is our life. And that's what I see when I watch Jackson State. When I watch Alcorn, you can see the marching, a lot of spacing issues. Once again, we talk about the four squares. Even when the beginning of the show, the drum majors, it's like when you watch Jackson State's drum majors, you see somebody, they are putting everything they've got into it. You know what? Mm-hmm. They're saying, I'm going to put everything I got into this first 30 seconds when you see me marching by myself, and where I'm going to get the rest of my energy to march the rest of this show, I have no idea. But this is all I'm giving you right now. And that's not what I felt when Alcorn came out there. Yeah, the cool move where they put their hand on the other dude's groin, that was cool. It was entertaining. But it wasn't, but they just didn't put their all into it. Same thing when the band came out there. They marched, but it just wasn't. It wasn't to that level like Jackson was. Even when the drum majors, I like how Jackson's drum majors switch up the dancing and the marching. I kind of wish that during the four squares, the drum majors had done more marching right there. But it's kind of like you kind of really showcasing what the band is doing by marching with them, I thought. So when they were dancing right there, it's kind of like, it kind of takes away a little bit for a moment. And then dance another time. Let's see here. I got some notes here, and I'll try to get to do this quickly. And the SOD. Come on, guys. If you guys won't give credit to to Jackson State, when Alcorn State made that sound of dynamite on the field. What?
Oh, yeah. I did forget about that.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah. And did y'all hear the baritone play the note by himself?
Yes, the solo.
Yes, I did. Yes.
That was given to him, you know. The band director made him do it.
I mean, there's no comparison. Jackson came out there. The things I didn't like about him, I've already said most of them. And Joe, you need to talk to him about getting a new banner. That banner is way too small and kind of simple. As awesome as Jackson State looks on the field, they need to kind of switch that up. But other than that, their marching was nearly flawless. The drill song, I really couldn't hear it. I don't know what was going on with the arrangement. It was like they would turn and face us, and all the stuff that we've heard all year, we didn't hear. I don't know what was going on. It was the arrangement, not the playing. You could definitely tell. But other than that, I thought it was great. Honestly, you just gotta love watching Jackson State's percussion section. If they don't, if watching them, particularly like when the dancers are dancing, or even when the band is doing the dance routine, and the camera is focused in on the drum line, those guys are having a party. And if that doesn't put a smile on your face to watch them just straight get it for 5 minutes or so, there's something wrong with you. So
definitely,
Jackson State all the way across, and I would probably give them the win in the stands as well, because they're just a much cleaner, much more disciplined band.
Definitely. Shout out to War and Thunder, the drum section there at Jackson State University. I always love, like you said, how they rock the heads. I did like how, and this is something I personally enjoy myself, but I like it when people imitate Jackson State marching, like and Alcorn was like, we're gonna march country like Jackson State. I laughed. I enjoy that. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. That's one of the things that I always was attracted to the boom, was just that hunched over, like, about to, shaking the elephant type swing and sway. That's what I really enjoyed. And I also thought it was funny because Alcorn's drum section, they tried their best to look like WT for some reason. Maybe it's just me, but that's who you seem to want to look like, So I really enjoyed that part of Alcorn show. Tyrone, what do you think about the stands? I know the fifth quarter was up, and I know Gerard just posted the fifth quarter battle not too long ago, and it's like 30 minutes or something like that. Did you get a chance to see the whole thing?
Nah, I didn't, man. And from what I saw, hands down, Jackson is just too much for Alcorn, in my opinion. I do like some of the song selections that Alcorn did, but it wasn't clean.
And that's always the knock on them. I'm getting some feedback in my headphones, so I don't know, maybe one of the guys turned down. You can hear the show through your phones or wherever you guys are calling on. But I think, one thing, Chris Jones, shout out to Chris Jones, the founder and owner of March Aerobics. He called Alcorn Bizarro, and I believe that's the name. I believe that's the correct name, but it's the dude that's like the dark Superman. It's Superman, and then you got Bizarro, where he got all the same skills, but he like mad and he hunched over. You know what I'm saying? Alcorn definitely reminds me of that, just because they're good and those uniforms, and the plumes, but then, the slurring or something will show. Well, just like the halftime show. Rashad, we talked about this, I don't know, maybe a couple weeks ago, but the whole go crazy that don't really work. And that was, I think that was one of their what their squares was doing. They like ran and they were getting crunk for a second, and then, they come out and do something else. But, it just wasn't it. They're good, and then for a while, like you'll see Alcorn. We got a call come in from the 601 area code, so somebody from Jackson. Caller, go ahead and give us your name and what game you talking about this evening.
This is Joe Beard, and I am calling regarding the Capital City Classic with Alcorn in Jackson State.
Come on now, Joe.
What's up, Dad? What's going on, man?
Well, I was at the game yesterday, and I agree with most of the comments regarding the halftime show. And along the way, you, Joseph, made some statement about Alcorn looking like Jackson State. That may be due to the fact that for the last 20-plus years, the band directors have been from Jackson State. The last 2 years, when the first band director from Jackson State, Samuel Griffin, retired, they hired, I believe his name is Antonio Sutton. I may be wrong, but Antonio Sutton.
Yeah.
Antonio Sutton is an Alcorn graduate. However, he came to Jackson State to work on his master's. After gaining his master's, he was hired as one of the assistant band directors. So he was at Jackson State for the last 3 to 4 years. And if you were to see Alcorn's band now, many of the things that you see Alcorn's doing is purely Jackson State.
Mm-hmm.
So that's one thing I want to kind of clear up, why they look like Jackson State band. And another comment quickly regarding how loud Jackson State is on the field. That started way back, right before I started playing in the band, and Prof. Davis was the director. His arrangements were arranged so that they brought a lot of power to the performance. All of the band directors from that moment on have been some of Prof. Davis' students. So they have kept up the arrangement style of Prof to make sure that the loudness remained. We went to Florida A&M, for example, when we were about 88 strong, and we were very, very powerful. That was a big, big, big surprise to a lot of people to see a band that small with such big sound. And well, one more thing, really. I don't know. Someone made a statement about Grambling being the well-known.
The marketing. I think that was Gerard. Yeah.
Yeah, that was not
the marketing and also the.
Oh, that was Rashad. I'm sorry, man. I'm sorry.
Oh, Rashad. Okay. Made the statement regarding the notoriety of Grambling's band. Well, that started way back in the 60s when the professional scouts went to visit the football team. And they noticed the band while they were there. That's how they got national attention. But if you ever see Grambling's halftime show, it is always what we called it way back then. It's a Rooty Toot band. They don't. to be very, very unimpressive during the halftime shows. But you guys, this is a great show tonight, and I'm enjoying listening to it. So take care and tune in at much later broadcast. Take care.
All right. Thanks again, Dad.
Give another round of applause there, Joe.
Yeah. That I was kind of crunk about, what were you saying, but, if the switchboard, whatever works. That's why a real joint. They actually have producer, and they got one dude talking, and then so many people doing this, the email clips here. But definitely shout out to Dad. I know that we talked about that, I think him and I. He was always talking about Grambling and the name and just, and I even know, like, people out here talk, Grambling. But, he makes a good point about, you talking about Eddie Robinson and that great football program. If people have an idea now, what Alabama was doing then, that's what Grambling was doing back then, and they had 11 national championships. And, like I said, that's when all your Cam Newtons and all of your RG3s, all of those guys all were in the same colleges, and they all were in the same division. So if you can imagine how competitive that was back then, I don't know about Bobby Bowden's 300 wins. But, again, I'm digressing into something else. What do you guys think about what my dad just said? Tyrone, I'll get to you, man. What do you think about what he was saying?
I think he had brought up great points and shed a lot of light on things, especially the history of Jackson State and Grambling and Alcorn. It's news to me that they had that much influence over at Alcorn from the Jackson State. For me personally, I've had similar things to happen. For a long time, we had nothing but FAMU graduates come over at South Carolina State.
Yeah.
So we had that influence going on with us. Now we have Morris Brown staff there, and you're starting to see a lot of the Morris Brown way of doing things now. So, yeah, I can see where he means it's all about where that band director has come from. They're going to do what they know, as something that Mr. Eddie Ellis had said to us when he got to South Carolina State. I can only do what I know, and
right.
if you expect different, I can't do that for you.
I heard that. Rashad, what do you think, man, about what my pops was saying? And then I'm gonna let you guys get your parting shots after this one.
Well, Joseph, I was really enlightened by what your dad had to say there, man. I hope you do it. Chop it up with him, man. It was really cool. I think it's really cool to see the legacy, between you two guys. I think that would be something that a lot of people would like. If you had marketed right, it would be something that a lot of people would like to really listen to. Just you guys kind of go back and forth on your experience at Jackson State and bands in general. But like Tyrone, I learned a little something right there. I didn't know about, that with Alcorn State. And the reason why Alcorn is the bizarro, as you said, which was hilarious. But initially, though, I kind of thought he was about to shut the show down. I thought he was about to say, Mom and I want to know why the lights are coming on and you're not home. That's what I thought was about to do.
Joe?
I'm glad it worked out.
Oh no! I thought he was gonna say, I thought he was gonna jump on me for saying that, the Boom took a L on the halftime show because Dr. Beard, I don't be hearing Jackson State took an L. I don't ever really hear that too much from my dad. You know what I'm saying? I know last year we talked about the show, and I think I said that Southern won last year because of something. If you guys remember, there was some drama about someone getting shot or there was a crime or something like that, and then the Boom had to go. It was something going on, and I was like, based on what we know, I got to give Jackson State the L. And, man, he sent me this email. And he was like, brother, what? Like, we ain't running from nobody. Like, I was like, my bad. You know what I'm saying? I was just, I just go on what I know. But definitely, man, I thought he was going to get mad about Ernie Isley or whoever was it, Van Halen or somebody who I don't even know who the dude was, man. But I thought he was going to say something about that. But we're about to wrap the show up. Rashad, you got anything coming up with the 8 to 5 guys or any events you want to put out there and let us know that's on the radar?
With the 8 to 5 guys?
Rashad.
Yeah, the 8 to 5, marching 8 to 5. I'm sorry, did I say Rashad? I meant to say Tyrone. My bad, man.
We're going to let him slide this week.
His dad
he's taking that L a little hard over there,
I actually did not get the names, and I usually always write my names down so I know like who I'm talking to and who is in the queue, and I just totally lost it today, man. But yes, Tyrone, yes, anything coming up with 8 to 5 or anything on the radar?
Definitely this weekend coming up, we're interested in South Carolina State versus Norfolk State. And then you have the great battle of the HBCUs, Howard versus Hampton, as well as the Florida Classic this weekend. I'm definitely excited about the Florida Classic. Just to see what FAMU is going to do now with their smaller band and everything, going up against this giant, massive band of Bethune-Cookman. And that's about it for us, man.
Yeah, man. Shouts out right quick, and I got to make sure I give shouts out to give credit where credit is due. Kevin Peete, or Peete, whatever. I'm sorry if I mispronounced the last name, but he put a joke out there. He heard that FAMU was carpooling to the game. He heard the band was carpooling.
I heard
That's
that.
what I heard. It wasn't me. I didn't say the joke. I just thought it was kind of funny. But yes,
I just thought it was a wagon pool or something. I don't know. I don't know what they're gonna do getting over those 7 hills over there. You know.
Well, that's what's up, man. Well, I appreciate you being on the show tonight, Tyrone, man, because, usually in the chat room, but definitely I always appreciate hearing the voice, man. And so I know I'll be hollering at you this week, man.
Oh, definitely.
Rashard, what's going on, man? Anything coming on the radar or anything you got coming on with block band music?
Well, real quick, I just want to give a shout-out to Gerard real quick. We did meet each other last year at the Honda Battle of the Bands. We were walking together after the event was over, and a homeless guy asked us for $5, and Gerard didn't hook him up. So I just want to put that out there. But yeah, man, I'm excited. Well, let me ask you this: the SIAC Championship, is it going to be between Southern and Jackson?
Yes, sir. Southern Jackson State. We won the East Division, and they won the West. So that's why I think they came out with the 3rd and 4th strings there in Jackson. They already won the East Division. So, and it's funny enough, they got the division things now. Alcorn beat Jackson State, and they beat Southern. But unfortunately, they just won't be in the championship game because you got to beat the other schools too. But I mean, they had a good year. So and they beat us just yesterday, so you got to give them credit.
They're winners in their hearts.
Indeed. Yes,
that's
indeed.
all that matters.
Right.
But I'm excited about that. I mean, because we all know that the last Boombox Classic kind of fizzled a little bit. It didn't live up to the hype that I know me personally I was putting into it. But hopefully this second time around, because I'm still watching Jackson and I'm still as excited as I was about them before, they are just heads and tails above where they were last year. And I hate that they're not going to be at the Honda, because the last 2 years at the Honda and they were kind of mediocre, and this year they're great, and now they're not at the Honda. It's like, gosh, this is the year to really be there.
Yeah, but, exactly.
Jackson, I think, is going to be great, and I am definitely. I'm excited about the Honda coming up. Tyrone is news to me with the battle of the HUs, Hampton Howard. It's like sacrilege for it to be this late in the season because it would always be our first game. We always have them trombone ready, But it'd be interesting to see what that's looking like as Hampton's going through their rebuilding year, and I'm not really sure what's happening with Howard these days.
Well, that's outstanding, man. I sure appreciate it. Howard, we talked about them last week, but we'll definitely be getting into them more later on. So, like I say, man, I'll be hollering at you this weekend. Good. Appreciate you having you on this week, man.
Hey, I enjoyed it, man. Take care, buddy.
Well, we are coming to the end of the show, and shout out to Maurice. I talked to him tonight right before we went on, and basically he reiterated what people were saying. He definitely thought that Jackson State killed them in the stands. Was not crunk about the halftime show, was kind of critical of Jackson State. Definitely he was critical about the Golden Girls thing. I forgot he said that. But we're going to close the show tonight. You are listening to Miles, Ain't No Heart in the Heart of the City. Something I really like from them because I really like Miles. But again, we want to thank you for listening. That's all the time we have. Check out the website and donate what's in your heart to themarchingpodcast.com. Like us on Facebook. Follow us on Twitter. Thanks to you for listening. And remember, the eye is a better pupil and more willing than the ear. Advice may be misleading, but examples are always clear. See you next time en route to the Bros.